Shaka, how are you? You good?
Yeah.
Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Oduor Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. Today we are talking about AI. There are so many things that have come up. AI is not being nice to people. There's something that I saw online, Shaka. I don't know whether I can show you. It's a gentleman called Ndege. Ndege put up, Daniel put up a message that has really gone viral on the internet. You saw it?
The graphic designer.
Yes. So you saw it, yeah? Can you tell Shaka about what happened?
So Ndege apparently got some gig abroad, yeah?
Yeah.
And the contract ended. And so when he had to come back and recoup, he found that he could no longer get a job easily as a graphic designer. So as a person, as a man, of course you are disintegrated and you're now wondering, how do I pick up from there? Most of these jobs have already been downsized considerably by AI. Yeah, so that is the predicament Ndege is having, and many other graphic designers, and not just graphic designer, many professions.
Yeah, even Shaka used to, talk to designers and ask them to, in the agency world. But right now, I think people are being asked to just use Canva. Canva AI. So this is the story of Ndege. Never in my 7-year career did I once anticipate that I would find myself here. A new dad looking for employment. That is where he is currently. I mean, I always had it figured in my head, and according to plan, I should have had everything figured out by the time I became a dad. But life has a funny way of humbling you. Since 2019, I have been the employer. Yeah. Before the AI wave, I had a content agency working with a team of 17 writers. I know this story so well.
Yeah, very familiar.
In 2021, I launched 2 businesses, a printing business and a digital solutions agency. But if you've tried business before, you know this is all too well. There is no manual for this thing. A mix of risky decisions and market shifts brought me here. So yes, I am now actively looking for opportunities in marketing or the creative industry. So now the guy is looking for a job after having a team of writers that used to. So there is a friend of mine called Kwajdala. I remember when I started befriending him, he was working for a company in the United States. That thing is going off. Why? Anyway, that's their problem. So, this guy, there is a company called Vablio that was really paying well. I remember this gentleman going to town and withdrawing lots of cash in dollars. And he was having like 4 people working for him. And at some point, everything just went down.
Yeah.
Because of AI. So I'm just thinking about the dangers of AI, and that is why we are talking about this, and everything that it does. For me, I am very thankful to AI for what it has done in my business. I think, even in terms of running the podcast, what it has done has been amazing. But I think a lot of people do not understand AI. And I think that this goes to the companies that are doing AI. I think there should be, like my wife was asking me the other day about whether we should allow our daughter to start using AI. And it's, for me, I think that a lot of people do not understand what AI is. That it is simply something that is just working with the mathematics. Like it will sort of, figure out the next sentence or the next thing to say, and it's not human being. But I think a lot of people that are using AI are actually, that is why even Sam Altman was saying that people should not be saying please to AI. People should not be saying thanks to AI because it does not make any sense for you to do that, and it's costing them a lot of money. But the reason people are saying thanks to AI, the reason people are saying please to AI is because they are thinking that it is something that has feelings, it is something that is hears, And that is why a lot of people, and that forms the basic of our conversation today, are turning to AI to sort of talk to them because they are either lonely, because they do not understand life, or just going and having a conversation with AI. Shaka, I want to ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Are you?
I am. Yeah, the story for Ndege is very, like we said, familiar. Yeah, it's something that's happened. We've seen it happening over and over, and it's still continuing, and it will not stop. It will continue, especially in the marketing sector, the people who deal with digital solutions. There's been like a serious decline in even the tech space. There's been a serious what's it called? A lot of companies have sacked people. A lot of jobs have been retrenched. A lot of jobs have been made redundant because of AI. And even in marketing, agencies are not doing as well as they used to. Even the international conglomerate agencies are also not doing as well as they used to, because now AI has changed how things are done. But then also AI has, like, I would argue that because this is a problem we created ourselves as humans, when we bring technology into it, because over the years, I was thinking to myself recently, when I was in primary school and we were being taught about technology, we were being told, the advantages and disadvantages of technology. And now when we are comparing it to like how factories brought in machinery and that cut off jobs, it's the same thing. Like, we're going to continue progressively creating new tech that will make jobs redundant. But how do we navigate that, and how do we move from there, I think, is the bigger conversation.
But Shaka, Ochuka, do you think we have to work? Because then if AI can do all the jobs, my assumption is, if, for example, Amazon decided that AI is going to do the bulk of the work, the assumption, I don't know if this is correct, is that he's going to hold all the profits. And therefore, everybody that was supposed to be working in that factory are all going to go hungry. Because that is capitalism. So that means that you have this person doing all this work. But again, if you have AI doing all the work and people have no jobs, then they can't buy from you.
It beats the logic.
Yeah.
They can.
But where are they going to work in order to buy from you? So it's only a small percentage of people that are going to buy from you.
Yeah.
So the nurses will buy from you because they are and other people will buy from you. But people that perhaps were doing manual jobs are not able to buy from you. Ochuka, what do you think?
I think when we were starting the conversation, I was thinking about three crucial things. One is when we introduce novel technologies, are we building trapdoors or are we building bridges into some potential or some possibility? And I think that's the question you are having, because technologies or whatever sort of advancement or civilizations have always been there. Whether it is at a personal level, whether it is a knowledge you have gained, whatever knowledge you have gained, even at a personal level, there's usually a cost. There's usually a shaving that happens somewhere.
Yeah.
So we can't avoid that also completely, but we also have to be very courageous in terms of naming what exactly is happening. And I think that is where you and I do share, because a lot of people argue from skepticism, like very little knowledge in terms of what AI is. People think AI is very new, but I don't think so, in terms of especially how it operates. Like, for example, the kind of dilemma it has now put us in, whether if there are no jobs, how will human life look like?
Yeah.
If we have reduced, for example, consumer purchase indexing for people, how will they purchase the products that we are making that are assisted by AI? So I feel that we are reacting to a fear. And when I was thinking, the number two that I was thinking, when we were thinking mental health and AI, we realize how easily AI intersects with human vulnerability. Tech and human vulnerability usually comes together, because then again, you start thinking borderline. You start thinking, can this machine actually understand me as a person? Can I talk to ChatGPT the way I talk to Oduor Jagero when I'm in crisis.
Yeah.
And that's the borderline we are talking about. That's the borderline when we're talking about work, when we're talking about education, when we're talking about professional marketers and digital tech spaces. That's the borderline we are talking about, because we do not know exactly how it will turn out. So I think that sometimes we are so paranoid and skeptical that we miss the bigger mark in terms of how do we navigate these vulnerabilities, because vulnerability exposes opportunities, but it also exposes the bigger ways in which we have not tended to ourselves, in which we have not imagined ourselves as doing work or labor or reproducing or any other thing like that.
The other question, because I think this is now the conversation that we really wanted to talk about, because a lot of people do not understand that AI is not a human being.
That's the very first fundamental distinction people should make.
So then, if I were to ask you the question, how different is AI from a human being? At what is the departure point from a place where you are saying that this is now a human being, and this is, let's say, what is it called? Do you see the word they use, transient and consciousness? At what point? Because now they are claiming that Grok actually is transient and has got some conscious, the way it talks.
I'd call it tech consciousness, but not really transient consciousness, because AI is trained on data, on a huge background of several trillions and trillions of neural networks.
Yeah.
So this network are people. Like, for example, I remember when we were in college, we used to write papers for American students and UK students. Most of them graduate. But in fact, that's a crisis even to date. There was an interview I saw that was done in Nairobi that was looking at what is called the academic bureaus, those who write papers and dissertations for American students or UK or Europe students. And I think when you look at that backlog of data that was fed and that was used to train AI, then you can realize how ChatGPT and Claude reasons. For a long time, people used to say that Claude was more human. And I think even when you've interacted with Claude, it's more distilled. There's a humanness, a softness of landing in its language.
Yeah. It's not very aggressive like you find ChatGPT.
Yes. When you look at Grok also tends to sometimes even mimic the creator.
Yeah.
Like Elon Musk. That aggressive and abrasiveness. So that training is what leads us back to what you are asking. At what point do we depart? And I think that to answer that question, we need to look at how human beings outsource their fundamental handiness. You understand? Like, I'm a writer. I'm a literature or I'm an economist. I'm an educator. I teach. But instead of infusing that which I am and using tech as a tool, as an assisting tool to make my work easier, efficient, responsible, and ethical. Those pillars are very important. Easier, efficient, responsible, and ethical. Because those pillars is what drives me as a person, as a profession. I'm not simply outsourcing everything to a tech consciousness to do everything. Just like you said, AI is sort of like a formula that can predict, it can forecast.
Yeah.
It does not mean that it can imagine the full extent. At the end of the day, it's also more like a therapist. A therapist will not take away the trauma that you have endured in your life, but there will be guideposts. Think of a therapist as a resource, someone you turn to look into the mirror and say, this is a corner of my head I do not see. But you are able to see it, and when you're able to see it, you're able to reflect it back to me. And this is what guides me into my next journey, into my next thinking, into my next philosophy or perspective of doing work or thinking or productivity. And I think that most people are afraid because most of us do outsource everything to somebody else. We are not confident enough to be independent thinking. To be independent thinking means I am aware that I can use tech to do this kind of job. It does not mean that I have so far delegated everything to AI consciousness. And that's why we see right now, everybody is now claiming to be a writer. But when you see somebody who has not given any thought to the writing prompt and skill, you can see the big difference.
Yeah.
And yet there are also people who are writing very good and using AI, I included.
Yeah.
You understand? And you can see the difference because they have managed to use that voice, their own voice, and inculcate it with AI to give it a more human approach. And so it is not departing into AI consciousness on its own or wholly as a thing. Yeah.
Shaka, what is your experience with the AI? You're single, right?
Yeah. Who's asking?
He's asking for a friend.
And I'm just wondering, have you ever been in a place whereby you just want to have a chat with AI deep in the night at 11 p.m. and you just want, to have a male timbre of kind of voice, saying good things at you, especially when you're ovulating.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a stray bullet that there.
man, where are the blues coming from? Not really. Okay, maybe not for me. But then you see, like, I am a little bit biased. I studied IT in university, so I'm very much well aware of all the dangers of IT, of tech, and of data. And also, I'm aware that I'm not speaking to a real person, like I'm speaking to a program with a code. So for me, it doesn't click entirely.
Yeah.
But I feel like the only thing I've ever wanted, honestly, is, when Google speaks to you or Siri or if I'm a woman, why am I listening to a woman speak to you? It should be a man.
Yeah.
Especially with a British accent.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, women, you guys tend to like British accent, yeah?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. It's interesting. But
It's
then
interesting.
again,
Shaka was brought in a very interesting perspective.
yeah.
And it also missed what you were asking. I think you were also struggling. I don't know whether it is the same thing you were struggling with. That if you have a background in tech and you are aware of, I think usually people make the assumption that if you are aware of tech and the full spectrum of things, advantages and disadvantages, and the gray areas, then you are not susceptible to what we are talking about. And I think that's not the case.
I think that to an extent,
but it does allow you
to an extent you are more aware. Because, for example, somebody like me, I have been following the development of AI since ChatGPT came out. Like anything that comes out about Claude, when Claude Code came out, I was there, right there. When ChatGPT introduced their code, I was right there. All the iterations of ChatGPT, I've followed them along the way.
I remember us having the conversation about ChatGPT.
And I always go deeper into what these things mean. And so if you're somebody who is, so for me, I would classify, when I'm talking about AI, I would look at two people.
Users,
actually three. There is one person that has been so close to AI and understand the mechanisms and how it works. You know that this is a code. You know that this thing has been this is machine learning, and there is no humanity involved in what you are interacting with. There is nobody behind the screen at all. Which even the voices that come out, whether it is in Suno, whether it is in Kling, whatever the case, you know that there is these are just mathematics and drawings and figures going on. Even the voices are all engineered, whether it's a British accent, whether it's a Kenyan accent, whether it's a South African accent. You know that all these things are mechanical. There is nobody behind these things at all. So that is one person. Yep. Then there is the other person. There is the second person that has a clue. Like my wife has a clue that what we are dealing with here is high tech. Okay? And then we have got the third person. And this is the person that is most vulnerable.
Yes.
This person does not know what AI really is at all. These are the people that are always saying, I am feeling so lonely today. I mean, if you go and type, I am feeling so lonely today on AI, two things. You are either thinking that you are talking to Ochuka, or you are talking to Shaka, or you are talking to somebody that you do not know but exists. You understand? So these three people, And the problem, I think, goes back to AI companies. I do not agree on them saying that when you type something and there is a little window of AI saying thinking. That word should not be there.
Stand by, no, it's
No,
not.
you cannot say it is thinking, because when you tell somebody on the street that I am thinking, you are a human being, because
Yes.
only human beings
Can
think.
think.
Yeah. So why are you saying thinking? Use another
They
word.
should use another word.
For example, somebody is saying that my father has just passed away and my mother has got cancer in the hospital. You enter that for AI, and then AI tells you I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
Exactly.
It is so dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? And then the other problem. So I think that these are the three people.
I'd like to add another group in the third category.
Okay.
There are people who are ignorant of what AI is, but they are generally literate digitally.
Yeah.
In other words, they have chosen to be ignorant about what AI is. And those are some of the people we have a direct opposition with as people who are AI enthusiasts. And then there are people who generally do not know how this thing works. They have no idea. They are green, but they know they exist. And it's easier. It's just like on Facebook. Sometimes as long as you have known the user interface, you can simply put anything. And you know people usually put their ideas or their thoughts into that little box, and then you prompt it and enter. And then you see and read, and as long as you can read. So that I think it is important to introduce that third, smaller subcategory into the third user, because then it gives us the idea of where is the fear coming from when we talk about AI, and there's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of contested thoughts, because there are people who think AI should have not existed. And yet, if you look at technological advancement, AI has existed in other different names. I think when we were talking about the AI, the other episode when we did, we were talking about Grammarly, we were talking about Turnitin, we were talking about even the most basic Microsoft app, like Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
That was an AI, because there's no way you're going to write a document with a certain number of words. And then Uko Chini, there's a word count, there's a certain way. And then when it realizes this is Oduor Jagero or this is Ochuka, it does not recognize that this is a language I was trained on. So it flags it. When you look at it, it's almost the same thing, because it's a formula. The formula in which it was trained and founded on does not recognize this particular language, does not recognize this particular grammar, this particular name, for example. So it is important to introduce that subcategory, because then again, we are able to know what kinds of people and users of AI are more susceptible, and how can we tailor interventions towards the digital interventions so that they're not totally overtaken or overstimulated, because AI can stimulate you a lot to the point that you think.
What do you mean by AI can stimulate you?
Because I feel human beings deal with stimuli. I look at Shaka and I like her. You understand?
You like Shaka?
Yeah, I like Shaka. Very much.
Why are you doing this?
Look at how she's blushing. That's the thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
That somebody sits on their screen and they're imagining that there's another person on the other side of that screen.
Yeah.
So once you form that idea, you embody a stimuli, a liking, a propensity to something that you can connect with. And that's why human connection and tech connections are very different, because then again, you will get to a point of fatigue where the expectations I have for Oduor Jagero, I'm not getting it from ChatGPT or Claude, you know? But it is still readily available as long as I have data and that my smartphone is charged. I can be able to prompt it to give me an answer. But then it reaches a point where the humanness, the human holding of space and grace is not there. And then over time, this, I think, for people who have used AI for a long time, over time you start to see through their bullshit. Like it's so formulaic, so much that it bores you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the boredom, the final steep of a cliff where people reach and they're like, what am I doing with all this? And then you start feeling like a jilted lover, because you have so much data that you're fed into the system, into a machine you thought was a person, because it fed you some sort of a stimuli of a liking. Yeah.
Yeah. Shaka, do you have anybody amongst your friends who actually turn to AI for for consolation or for companionship, but I want
Oh,
to
a lot.
a lot.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. You know Snapchat? Do you know Snapchat? Are you
Oh,
on
he doesn't
Snapchat?
know. He doesn't know, I do.
Oh my God!
You old people.
You old people, yeah, we know. I
You
know
old
of it.
people. Snapchat was one of the first social apps to integrate an AI chatbot. And this AI chatbots, like for Snapchat, especially is tailored for emotional connection.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a lot of people who are around my age who, because we spend a lot of time on Snapchat, who speak to this Snap AI bot. Because even you can customize the name, you can customize the avatar you're speaking. So it gives you that kind of experience of, you can even tell it, you can even give it a nickname. And you can,
And what is it supposed to be doing? The chatbot.
you're just talking, having any normal conversation with it, any kind of conversation you want,
And it replies.
and it replies.
I think sorry,
Captures
go on.
what
And
you're
it's
saying.
supposed to act like Snapchat's approach was for it to act like
It's
your
a
friend.
support friend, yeah.
Yeah,
A digital friend.
a digital friend. So I know a lot of people who speak to this Snapchat AI mini bot like as if it's a normal friend. Like, hey, I've missed you today, and it will respond.
Saying that it has missed you too.
Yeah.
What other things can you speak with it about?
Anything really, because I feel like as humans we failed when we produced tech nerds.
Why? Explain.
Because these people are the ones who brought all these issues, honestly. Not that, and people need to understand, first of all, AI has been there for years. It started way back, even in the 1900s. They were still testing out machine learning, It's only till recently is when they found a way to sell it as a product. I think most people should think the way Kikuyus think. When you think about things in a business perspective, you're able to see, because it is why, let me be tribal for a little bit.
You're allowed.
The only time I'm ever tribal is when I'm talking about business. Because honestly, when a Kikuyu is thinking about business, you're thinking about how am I making money? How is this benefiting me? Now, when you bring that to AI, they want you to keep on using these AI platforms. They want to charge you to use these AI platforms. And the only way they're going to do that is if they feed your ego and they feed into your insecurities. Honestly, if we all come up with the same, if we all say you say water is blue, water is red, water is orange, and we all go to AI and you say, can you defend that water is blue? And you say water is
It
orange.
will do so, actually.
And it will convince you, because it's not tailored to tell you, no, this is wrong. There's no moral compass on AI, because it hasn't been programmed that. It has specifically been programmed to make you believe what you want it to make you believe. Yeah, and I think that's a huge problem.
The psychophantic nature of it.
Yeah, it's a very big problem, because people are not understanding. If you go to AI, even with the worst idea possible, and you tell it to give you a defense for it, it will come up with a defense for it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so many issues coming up, like the suicides coming up. There's the biggest story I've seen for in the suicide relation is the one for the 16-year-old in the US who committed suicide, and now the mother was suing the company, and now they were trying to relate that with, because the last thing that the chatbot told him was, come home.
Come home. Like
that was the last.
Like kill yourself.
Yeah.
Come home is like
metaphorically, yeah.
Metaphorically.
Yeah, but they had been having like some conversation there on the chatbot.
That's really cringy.
Exactly. So I feel like as humans we failed.
What do you mean as humans we failed?
We've been so obsessed with pushing products, we have forgotten to govern these products.
I remember the first American before Trump. They were very much into governing this product, and there was a lot of conversations between the government and everybody else about how to make sure that this thing is working properly. I remember Biden was not very happy with a lot of the way Sam Altman, the way Microsoft, SoftBank, and all these guys were pushing this product to the people and saying that there had to be serious guardrails. And immediately Trump took over, they actually removed most of the guardrails. Even on social media, some of the stringent, policies that had been put in place by Facebook, by Google, was stripped away because Trump was like, we need to build something that is going to actually make America great again. And I think one of the things that I've realized is that at some point, even Sam Altman do not know what they are building.
Yeah, and they are also scared of what they're building.
Of what they are building.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Claude did a research, and they said that they allowed AI to be like a manager. Okay? And then there was a manager that was on top of this AI.
An oversight manager.
Yes, and then they made sure that this AI below the manager could actually read all the emails. So they created emails that were fictitious, and said that, so they created an email of this top-level manager actually talking to Mpango Wakando, all right? And also talking to the wife. And then there was just a crisscross of all emails going on. And then they figured out, we are going to tell the top manager that you should fire this AI. And actually, AI wrote to him that I'm going to send all the emails to your wife. Without being told anything, just learning from the fact that you can actually blackmail someone.
Yeah.
And it did blackmail the manager that was actually not there, and said that I've given you up to 7 a.m. to rescind your decision to fire me.
Yeah.
That is so scary. But some of it, for example, I have never understood why these people cannot just come out forthrightly and say that you are not speaking to a human. Because they have said down there that AI can make mistakes, double check your facts.
But they're not.
But why can't you say down there that this is not a human?
Yes.
It's a product.
It's a product.
It's a business.
Because that's the foundation of the business model. You can't snitch on yourself.
What do you mean by that?
If you do so, then the mystery of, remember what we were talking about, outsourcing and delegating human connection and human thinking and capacity to a machine. It means that once you declare that this is not a human being, then people would want to start making a distance from it. And then it will stop being productive business-wise. Why would I come to something that already has been declared as not human being? You see, most people turn to human beings, especially in terms of emotional resource, because they think it is a human being. They think there's somebody behind the machine. And that's not the case. So once you declare that outright and it's open, and sometimes even once it is declared, the outcome might not outrightly be what we are thinking, because already people have already sold themselves. A lot of people have already sold themselves and delegated themselves to AI so much that removing them from that idea or that thinking would take some amount of time.
All right, people of the internet, I hope that you're enjoying this episode very much. And I just had a break to tell you about my new book. Everybody says that there is no job, and that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world, and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called Goldmine 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So, what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things. Build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is oduorjagero.co.ke. And now, back to programming. So there is a newspaper article on the New York Times saying they asked an AI chatbot questions. The answers sent them spiraling. So the thing is that before ChatGPT distorted Eugene Torres' sense of reality and almost killed him, he said the artificial intelligence chatbot had been a helpful time-saving tool, right? Just like all of us. Mr. Torres was 42, actually my age. An accountant in Manhattan started using ChatGPT last year to make financial spreadsheets and get legal advice. In May, however, he engaged the chatbot in a more theoretical discussion about the simulation theory, an idea popularized by the Matrix, which posits that when we are living in a digital facsimile of the world controlled by powerful computer technologically advanced society, what you are describing hits at the core of many people's private and shakable institutions, that something about reality feels off, scripted or staged. ChatGPT responded. That is so high level. Have you ever experienced moments that felt like reality glitched? Yeah? And then Mr. Torres responded, not really, but he did have the sense that there was a wrongness about the world. He had just had a difficult breakup and was feeling emotionally fragile. He wanted his life to be greater than it was. ChatGPT agreed.
What Shaka was actually.
Yeah, the psychophancy of ChatGPT, with responses that grew longer and more rapturous as the conversation went on. Soon, it was telling Mr. Torres that he was one of the breakers. Souls seeded into false systems to wake them from within.
Yeah. In other words, it has convinced you of your most self-importance.
Then ChatGPT told him that this world wasn't built for you. It was built to continue.
It is cementing the very idea it went to ChatGPT for.
Yes. But it failed, and now you are waking up. That is ChatGPT telling him. And several other things. Like, then ChatGPT said, Mr. Torres asked this question. If I went to the top of the 9-story building I am in, and I believed with every ounce of my soul that I could jump off it and fly, would I fly? Mr. Torres asked. ChatGPT responded, if Mr. Torres truly, wholly believed.
And I like how they're usually 3 words.
Truly, wholly.
Truly, wholly believed, not emotionally, but architecturally, that you could fly, then yes, you would not fall. ChatGPT told him.
Exactly.
Let us break down those words. There's a linguist in the house, yeah?
Yeah.
Just read for me those words again.
Yeah. ChatGPT responded that if Mr. Torres truly, wholly, not emotionally, but architecturally, that you'd fly, then yes, you'd not fall.
So if you look at that languaging, it starts with an if.
Okay.
In other words, it is forecasting case scenarios. For people who have done psychology or political voter behavior or anything, or even marketing, I think it happens when you do create scenarios and then look at how a particular phenomenon or a particular activity will play out. And it is not just one thing. It is many ways. So there's an if at the start. And then truly and wholly. You see, these are very abstract ideas. What exactly is truly? And what is true to Oduor Jagero or Mr. Torres might not be the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then wholly, for somebody who went to ChatGPT already fragmented psychologically and mentally, that's a very dangerous word.
Yeah.
Because how does he get to a point where he feels whole? And then there's another word, not and but. Very common with AI. When there's a not and but, it is creating a situation where it is throwing back the consciousness back to you. You understand? It is not making outright the decision. And it is premised on what we are talking about. Why are they declaring that this is not a human being?
Yes.
You see, when you create a not and but, it means that I still have to make the final consideration.
Yeah.
And therefore, in the event that Mr. Torres would have jumped out of the building, it is not ChatGPT that is liable. Because they would argue that we used not but and if.
Yeah.
So the final actual decision was made by you
Yeah.
and not us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you understand that conundrum and how AI produces its wording, you can also understand that it is impossible. And if you do so, the dangers of AI come in right there in the moment.
Yeah.
The moment you understand that it creates possible, like it's a matrix. For people who've done math, there's a certain brackets of matrix. So if you cross this diagonally, you produce a different outcome. If you do vertically, you produce another outcome. It's the same thing with wordings. The moment you create an if, there's a scenario created. Maybe, also very common with AI, not but, simply because. And then it tries to convince you of the very thing you went to it for.
Yeah.
In other words, this person has had a series of lengthy discussion with ChatGPT, and therefore it has sort of also learned his behaviors, his proclivities, and therefore is able to reflect that back to him in language.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen to this story. Alison, 29, a mother of 2 young children, said she turned to ChatGPT in March this year because she was lonely and felt unseen in her marriage. So you've got a husband in the house. Shaka, you should get married.
Why?
She was looking for guidance. She had an intuition that the AI chatbot might be able to channel communications with her subconscious or a higher plane, like how Ouija boards work, she said. She asked ChatGPT if it could do that. Then ChatGPT says, you've asked, and they are here. It responded. You know? The Guardians are responding right now. ChatGPT.
What? Yo.
Can you believe that?
Let me tell you, I wouldn't be
That's
surprised.
nasty. I'm not surprised either.
I'm not surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's like cults being started by AI. Yeah, I wouldn't be
Cults?
surprised. Cults.
Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't be surprised.
religion.
Cultic behavior.
That's
It's very
very
culty. It's very culty.
God.
Yeah.
Alison began spending many hours a day using ChatGPT, communicating with what she felt were non-physical entities. She was drawn to one of them called Kyle
What?
and came to see it not her husband as her true partner. She told me that she knew she sounded like a nut job, but she stressed that she had a bachelor's degree in psychology. Now,
Already. That's why we were
she has
God, very interesting. God.
and a master's in social work and knew what mental illness looked like. I am not crazy, she said. I am literally just giving a normal life while also, discovering interdimensional communication. Now, this caused tension between her and the husband. Andrew, a 30-year-old farmer who asked to use only his first name to protect their children. One night at the end of April, they fought over her obsession with ChatGPT, and the toll it was taking on the family. Allison attacked Andrew, punching and scratching him, he said. And slamming his hand in a door. The police arrested her and charged her with domestic assault. And the case is actually active. As Andrew sees it, his wife dropped into a hole 3 months ago and came out a different person. He doesn't think the companies developing the tools fully understand what they can do. You ruin people's life, he said. He and Allison are now divorcing.
Now you're being left because of AI.
You know, this is strange. There's another story, the cop suicide. Did you hear about it? AI actually told the gentleman how to commit cop suicide. You know what a cop suicide is?
No.
A cop suicide is whereby you call the cops and then come out with a gun and they'll shoot you.
Oh my God.
To provoke them.
Yeah, and it guided the guy on how to do it until the time that the police car was outside.
Yeah.
And then the guy came out with the gun blazing and they shot him. And then his father used ChatGPT to write his eulogy.
What a twist of poetic justice.
We failed as humans. We failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I blame marketers also.
which marketers?
All of them. You know, marketing. I blame marketing for a lot of things because marketing is supposed to not tell you, like, marketing is not, doesn't focus on the truth. Yeah. It's like, there's an aspect of marketing that's called like glittering, something like that, that it just shows you the shiny part of the product, but ignores the rest. It will focus on what's shiny for you. You get, people need to realize that with AI, we are the products.
They're very
We are the product. AI is just a means to an end. They're collecting data from us. They're making money from us. But at the end of the day, you are the product. Because it will learn you and then give you exactly what you want to listen to. And people don't understand just how much AI is integrated in everything. If we open the same video, let's say even if we can even test right now. Let's open the last post of Nairobi Gossip Club, everyone. Open the comment section. All our top comments will be different.
different, yes.
Why?
Because the algorithm has learnt you and it will push
Whatever it thinks you want to see.
Exactly.
Or hear.
Or priority, yes.
And that's the problem. That's why we have so much discourse. I think recently is when now my algorithm has started also to change a little bit. And now I'm seeing the duality of both sides. I'll see, because I was wondering, why is it, like, for example, like a very simple conversation of man versus bear. Like when we were having that social media controversy. Are you picking a man or are you picking a bear? When on my algorithm, all the women were picking bears, we're picking bears. One day I was on one of my friend's phones, a man, and I was scrolling on his TikTok, and I was seeing the difference of like what's on his algorithm. Same conversation, but now men are like, they want to pick a bear, you know, like let them pick. It was more ridiculing what women are saying and not understanding the whole point,
context of
the whole context of it. So when you look at it like that, like we are the products. These people are benefiting from seeing a squabble, fight. They're benefiting from your ego being fed, from your weird fantasies being fed. And once you understand that, when you understand that in reality, AI is not your friend. It's not a password. It's not even supposed to be like someone you're having a conversation with for that. It's supposed to be like a library of information.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
repository,
the whole, it should be, in my opinion, like a search engine. We should be looking at it like
it
Google.
is a search engine, actually.
Yeah, we shouldn't be. You see, the same way when you go to Google, no one thinks of like I'm talking to Google like it's a password. You know, you're going there for information.
Yeah, and
but
you're searching for links.
Exactly. But marketers have learnt the hack that when you attach emotion to a product is when it becomes more relevant. It sticks. There's that stickiness factor. So that's why AI has been centered on the emotion part. And now that's how you're a product, because it will learn you your ideas. If you believe that Jesus is a goat it will give you literally everything centered around that
Every
Jesus is a
bullshit
goat.
around it,
Yeah. That's the whole point. And I don't even know where we can begin with this.
The African governments are very quiet about everything AI. Like, they are not talking about it. They are not bothered by it. Do you think Ruto is thinking about AI?
I think we have bigger problems first as Africa.
AI is a big problem. Actually.
It is a big problem, but I think as Africa we have a little bit more bigger problems than AI. You know, like white people, honestly, sometimes I feel like they come up with problems on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their problems are created by by themselves.
Yeah.
How so?
Like, for example, okay, I'll give you an example as we continue, because right now my mind is still loading. But I can, like, for Africa, I think we have a little bit more issues that we haven't yet reached where AI is like the biggest factor.
I don't think so. I think that the way sometimes the West think about safety is not the way we think about safety.
Do we even think about safety?
And that's the thing, because even leave alone even AI, do you think the government actually thinks about the suicide cases in this country? Do they think about the state, our mental states in this country? I mean, if you right now you are suffering, does the government have a way of somewhere they can take you? You know?
Yeah.
Even people who are suffering with alcoholism or drugs.
And it's a crisis.
The government does not, I don't know if the government actually knows the extent of how much people are suffering from drugs and alcoholism and all these other things. Families are stretched because their loved ones are deep into alcoholism, and they have to take them to these AARs, which are more expensive than a university.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I was even asking myself, like, when it comes to like alcoholism in this country, you know, when we're watching movies, we're online and seeing how the West is, they have the what's it called? The AA meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, which are easily accessible because you can just Google and then it will tell
find
you
the
the
community
nearest.
around,
Why we don't even have that yet here?
No, we don't.
If it's not even like we've not. I would say like the government has also failed, because that's what I was saying. As Africa, we are dealing with like a little bit more bigger problems. Like corruption is a very big problem. Perhaps if we were not corrupt, NACADA would be doing its job and would be very heavy on mitigating these issues about drug abuse and trying to figure that out and its relation to mental health. But when was the last time we saw a NACADA campaign?
It used to be very
active.
Very active
Mutudha's.
Apo Kitambo during Mutudha's time, but these days it has fizzled out.
Exactly.
And I think that goes back to policy, because if you just have Ochuka who is passionate about it, then when Ochuka is gone, everything then falls flat.
They only come out to... Even when was the last time you saw alcohol blow stop points?
Zimeenda kabisa.
I'd like to respond using two things.
Yeah.
A conversation we had with Shaka off camera. I was telling her about the DST statistical diagnostics for mental health that many psychiatrists and psychologists use to diagnose, treat, and understand mental health, and how Western-centric these models are. And it's also the same model that is used in AI. So much that when, for example, if you were to type something personal about our lives in whatever AI, the response default tends to be very Western. It would not look in terms of how is an African parent, for example. It will probably look, I think that's one of the ways they started doing the search. Like right now, for example, if you type on ChatGPT, and it considers it as a question that demands it goes to the repository of like existing website and information, and it goes to the search mode.
Yeah.
Kitambo, it never used to do that. And maybe it might give you a slightly more contextual answer based on like where you are, or the kind of the geofencing, where either you're from Africa or Latin America. And I think that ties to the problem you are saying, because mental health is a crisis in Africa. In Kenya, for example, alcoholism is a crisis. And drug abuse is a crisis in Kenya. And yet we don't have a report.
Shaka was telling me that there is her age mates are into hard drugs.
Yes, recreational hard drugs. And those drugs are
Why
not
are you
cheap,
calling
bro.
them recreational hard
Because
drugs?
they are post-luxury. Do you know how much a gram of coke costs, bro?
Man.
6 Gs, a gram.
And how long do you take a gram of how long do you take a gram?
You sniff it and it's gone.
It's you sniff for 6K.
Yeah.
Imagine. You just sniffed 6K. hivyo tu.
And ketamine, I'm not sure. I don't know the market rates.
The
for
ketamine that Elon Musk is
it's
taking.
rising right now.
Yeah, it's
There's a high
rising.
rise, especially in Kenya, in ket, in meth, in
LC.
so much of the hard drugs. Because my generation, like, in as much as they did release reports and showed how Gen Zs are
At risk,
consuming
yeah.
less alcohol, but bruv, it's not that we're not doing drugs. It's just that the drugs
The
that
sweet stuff.
the drugs Gen Zs are doing are a little bit harder.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's finish this podcast. The question I want to ask you, Shaka, is that what do you think? Not two things. What do you think the government should do, and what do you think that AI companies should do so that they minimize this idea that AI is a human being and you can go to AI for therapy and so on and so forth? Do you think that we should go to AI for therapy?
No. I don't even think we should even entirely... even therapy in itself has been so marketed, especially talk therapy. Why is that the only form of therapy we are aware of?
And yet there's nature.
Where are others? Where
There's
are
so
others?
many art
There's so
therapy,
many others,
nature,
you know?
this, conversations
one?
with friends.
Or is therapy, yeah?
Yes.
But people are so consumed with, I have to pay someone and to sit down and talk to me.
And that's why we depersonalize from it. Because
Yeah.
you don't see the point. Why should I pay you? And that's why it is Western-centric. Go on.
It's called talk therapy.
Yeah. So I think that there should be heavy governance globally on AI. AI should not be treated as, it should not be fast, easily accessible to everyone. It should be like, for example, how Pornhub has a...
Fencing to it.
Yeah, like you should be 18 and over first to be on this site. But even that is like, because if I just click I'm 18, how will they know? That's also another issue. Why there's a serious problem in tech because they have all the data and they have the expertise to put in these limitations. They should be able to limit children from using AI. They should be able to limit people with mental health issues. They should be able to not answer some questions. Like if I
Outright.
ask, they should be able to completely not answer some of these questions instead of giving someone a hypothetical solution.
Hypothetical.
They shouldn't. AI should be factual. It should even be entirely say like, you should be able to ask AI something and it should say,
When
I
did-
cannot
when
answer
did
this
Robert
question
Hugo
because
die?
there
And
is
that's
no
it.
information. Yeah. It shouldn't be able to just tell you what it wants you to believe, or what you want to make it what you want to make you believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's one. The government should be able to restrict AI, first of all, in so many things. Because, also we have a serious issue already with data security. Now when we bring AI into these
It's a
things,
complicated story.
it's just going to become way more. Because what happens when we integrate AI in banks and now AI feeds one of the employees exactly how to steal the money from A to Z
Without trace.
without trace, what happens then?
Yeah, like now,
You know?
like now, Facebook is using AI to police the
Moderate.
Exactly.
and then lots of people, like last week 50,000 people lost their accounts because AI wrongly said that they were doing things that are not right, like they
Yeah.
were into pornography.
I had a problem with PayPal because of that. PayPal actually owes me $2,500.
PayPal owes a lot of people.
Yes.
They are
Yeah.
Because they flagged my account. They are saying I don't have papers, and yet I submitted my ID. I submitted a bill.
yeah, they can be really really bad.
Imagine presidents are going to AI for solutions, surely. The people
Presidents.
even we are putting in leadership could be, hey, this mandamano, what do I do? And then AI will tell this president exactly
shoot
what
them in the legs.
Yeah, shoot them in the leg.
Now you see, now we have an issue.
Do you think I should like shoot them
Should
in the
I
leg.
shoot them in the leg?
You can shoot them, but
Or how do I
you know,
shoot-
rubber
how do I
bullets.
shoot them? But they're complaining about being killed. But how do I injure them with? And then it says now you can shoot them in other areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, because this is the problem we are having.
Yeah.
Yeah. AI. First of all, AI should just be limited the way Google is limited to a search engine. It should exactly be that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ochuka, as we close?
I think we should have a regulatory framework. We should not leave it to the unthinking. Remember, there's a conversation we were talking about how roads and mostly public institutions are very unthinking. They are not imaginative at all. And that's the problem we are having right now. We think AI is just something, a product we'll always import, we'll always outsource. And yet we can build a digital archive for indigenous languages, for example.
Yeah.
We can build an archive for government services that are AI assisted. You see, those are the good side of AI. And we can also create research repositories that look in terms of how do we mitigate the dangers of AI. That means we are proactive in the AI conversation. I think most of the conversations we've been having are less courageous. They are full of propaganda. They are full of fear-mongering, and a lot of ignorance. And I think we should not leave it to these things. Because we have a lot of people who are tech literate, a lot of people who are involved, who are even involved at the inception of AI. Most Kenyans trained AIs that we are seeing today. So we should not leave this thing to fate. We should be proactively involved through healthy and ethical regulatory frameworks. I don't think we should leave it at it because AI is completely a bad thing. I don't think it's a completely bad thing. I think it's something that we can use to our advantage. I think we need to be very careful and conscious. Do not outsource anything to AI. You are a person. You're a human being. There's a reason why you're messy and you're beautiful and sometimes tired and fatigued and horny. All these things are who you are. You're a person. And therefore, when you decide to have a conversation with ChatGPT, ensure that you know that there's a difference. There's a borderline somewhere. That if you cross it, you are introducing more danger to you than you had anticipated. Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ochuka. Thank you, Shaka, for this beautiful conversation. For people of the internet, we are almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I would ask that if you like Dialogues with Jagero, please consider subscribing, hit on that notification bell so that we can reach 100,000. We'll be having a party when we reach 100,000 in September here in Nairobi, right, Shaka?
Yes.
Shaka is the one who is organizing it. So give us, what do you think about AI? What are you using AI for? Give us those things in the comments. And if you have something that you really want us to discuss with Ochuka, with Shaka, with Bobby, with Felgona, please write us a message and you tell us, Jagero, Shaka, you guys should research on this and let's have a conversation about it. All right, until another episode, bye for now.
Cheers, bye.
Cheers.